and Japan.
Meanwhile, the Kenyan Ambassador to China, Sara Serem, penned an emotional statement describing how the lockdown at the Chinese Wuhan city due to the coronavirus outbreak has affected Kenyan students studying there. Serem described the situation in China as dire and called on Kenyans to pray for their compatriots in Wuhan. In her statement, Serem narrated the painful experiences of Kenyan students. She says she has taken the students as part of her family as they hope a longer-lasting remedy will be found soon against the outbreak. President Uhuru Kenyatta is on record saying Kenya will evacuate its students trapped in Wuhan, the Chinese epicenter of the coronavirus epidemic. So can the Kenyan students be safely evacuated, and are there adequate measures to control the disease if at all some of them are infected? Let's speak to Professor Amu Anzala, who is a virologist on the same. Professor, many thanks for joining us at News Desk this afternoon. The main question many are asking, even as the students plead to be brought back home, is it safe to evacuate them?
Yes, I think the gesture from the president to give a directive for our colleagues and students who are in Wuhan to be brought back to the country is actually a positive move. Mm-hmm. Personally, I believe that with the kind of measures that have been put in place, repatriation and quarantine is a well understood procedure. Mm-hmm. What will happen is that for those who need to be evacuated, screening will be done at the exit point. Those who are found to be unwell can be retained in Wuhan, but those who are not well, who are well completely, can be chartered back into the country. Mm-hmm. I think there's adequate facility to be able to quarantine 100 or so people in this country.
Right.
We are well prepared because now we have the reagents to be able to screen, mm-hmm. and we have the right gear in order to, at the airport, to also screen. Mm-hmm. And with the right measures, take them to quarantine for 14 to 15 days. So as far as I'm concerned, this is what Kenya should have done a long time ago.
Let's discuss what protocol suggests or would have happened in this situation, because I understand the Kenyan students in Wuhan have been writing to the Kenyan embassy for the longest time asking to be evacuated. But going by this post here by the Kenyan ambassador to China, Sara Serem, evacuation, seems as though it has become a difficult process at this point. What does protocol dictate?
No, it's not a difficult process because they call it repatriation and quarantine. All that Kenya needs to do is to hire a chartered plane, and within that hired plane have all the staff who are going to bring, the crew that is going to bring back these students well prepared, mm-hmm. totally well educated. All of them should have the right kind of gear. Mm-hmm. Our students should be screened on exit. All of them should be screened on exit. They will also be clearly looked after during the 6 or so hour flight, mm-hmm. from Wuhan to Nairobi. In flight, they will have measures to keep checking them so that if any one of them begins to show signs and symptoms of the COVID-19, mm-hmm. they can be isolated within the plane so that they are far from the others. As soon as they arrive at the entry point, again, procedures are in place to again screen all of them, mm-hmm. and then evacuate them to the right place where we are going to quarantine them for 15 days, mm-hmm. as we check that and continue screening clinically and also using samples that we shall take to ensure that they are actually not infected, and thereafter put them back into back to their families.
All right.
So procedures are very clear. The exit point during the flight back to Kenya, mm-hmm. at the entry point exactly what should happen, and then when they are in quarantine for 14 to 15 days, what should happen. So I personally, I don't have any problem with that. This is what we should have done maybe a week or 2 weeks ago when the whole problem started.
All right.
Because we are not sure how long this epidemic is going to take.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
Many thanks for your time. That is Professor Amu Anzala. He is a virologist speaking to us on the coronavirus outbreak as